I stopped and said, I won't do it.
What's that?
I'll not say anything that would harm somebody else.
No.
I will not do that.
I respect that. I
No, I
wouldn't
would not.
want you to do that.
Anything out here on the island, people, children growing up, grandchildren, and all that, I respect all that.
Oh, yeah. I understand that.
I'm not going to do anything that would get down the line somewhere to them that I would say, and there's plenty of it I know.
Right, yeah. Well, that's nice.
So some things that I know to be the fact, and if I tell you of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw it myself, then I don't mind talking to you about it.
Okay.
If somebody else told you, I don't know if it's truth or not.
Yeah. But your whole name is Nathaniel Jackson.
Nathaniel.
And they call you Nat.
Nat.
Nat
They call me Nat.
Jackson.
Nickname.
Uh-huh.
I'm known for that, all the young people on the island here. And two just left here just that minute. And their mother. And they're from
Oh,
West Virginia.
really?
They come here every week.
That's
And they
nice.
come in and talk to me, and I give them a little something out of this morning. I put a little trick on her.
You did?
You can't do. They never forget things like that. People don't do that no
Yeah.
more.
Well, what year were you born, Mr. Jackson? Oh, this is the trick.
That's the truth.
Okay.
And I knew she was going to ask me what I was doing that. But it caught her off. So this morning I knew she was coming, so I put it right there.
Uh-huh.
And after a while she kept looking at it, kept looking back, looking at it, looked back. And I knew she was going out that door and she asked, because that's her way of doing it. Child, 8-year-old.
Right.
And she said to me, would you mind if I ask you a question? I said, no, I don't mind a bit. What is it? She said, what is that? I said, that's Sarah's breakfast. That's the dog right
Your dog's name's Sailor?
there. Sarah.
Oh, Sarah's breakfast.
Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she said, okay. I wonder what that piece of ham was doing on top of that thing. And I said, well, that's Sarah's breakfast. Sarah's good. I keep her on a leash, and she was arrested. He killed over hill.
She was arrested.
Arrested, put her in jail. And what she was arrested for. Anymore, you go to the Pine in North Carolina, anywhere in North Carolina, they have to tell you. If anything like that got a problem, they can't let it go.
Right.
And you sign a letter to the effect that they have a right, if they can the dog anytime they want to. If they see something not right, they take the dog and leave with it.
My dog's been arrested too.
Is that right? I wouldn't
Yeah,
doubt it.
I had to bail him out.
That's right. You know, I went and got the dog, and the man told me this, and he told me I have to tell you that the dog is bad. I said, she's bad? She bite somebody? And he said, no, she don't bite nobody, but she's legal. And she puts that head down, and it goes toward the ground. She's gone. And she said she was a kitty hawk, and she'd run away from home and go out on the golf course. And when they put the ball, she'd run and get the ball
Uh-huh.
and take it off out where they wouldn't walk and lay down there and watch her.
Right.
And people got tired of it.
So what was the trick?
Nobody puts a piece of ham in the living room. Where can you go out and find a piece of slice of ham laying in the living room? I knew she'd ask me about it.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It makes her wise.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
what year were you born?
A lot of people ask me that. And if you don't mind, like Teddy,
Okay.
and see if you can find out.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
I was born in the gay 30s.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
All right.
And I was born same time. Al Capone, you read it in the books when you went to school.
Uh-huh.
Al Capone. And they're searching for a gangster that robbed a bank.
Right.
Babyface Nelson.
Right.
Okay? And they finally pinned him down. And they machine gun bullets. That's on display right today.
And you were born that same year?
Same year.
1931.
Nope.
32.
Nope.
30.
Uh-uh.
3.
I had a birthday about a month ago. Well, July.
Uh-huh.
July 24th. And I will tell you, I was born in 1928.
28.
28.
You said the gay 30s.
Yeah. Well, I was close to it. I was getting close. And I've done, every year we have on the island, with the people get together and have a parade
Yeah.
here on the
On
island.
4th of July?
Yeah. And it's bigger than you think for.
Mm-hmm.
30 floats,
I've heard about it.
people walking. And I done it the first time it was ever done.
What year was that?
It's way back, 40, 50s, 45, 50.
Mm-hmm.
And we take a sailboat and rig it up and put a sail on it and sail down the road
Oh.
with rubber tires
Yeah.
on the trail.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
a lot of them died off. And I got hat after hat in that room back there that I've used in the parades.
Really?
And I've done, believe it or not.
Do you still participate?
Yeah. I done it this year.
Is it different with all the tourists?
I was Grand Marshal
You were?
this year.
Well, congratulations.
I was appointed into it, yeah. And one was all crippled up down the road. I went and got her. And got her in it with me. And a man come here and got me and her both. And put a big sign on the side of the door, Grand Marshal. And they come. In fact, I'll show you the picture in just a minute. I got it
Okay.
over there. And
Has the parade changed with all the tourists in the summertime?
not a whole lot. A lot of people coming from the island. Back when we first started, it was just Navy people
Right.
from the island. And I had worked 3 to 5 days every minute of the day
Right.
for the there was a D-net parade. Big boat trailers. And go down the last day, the last minute. I worked every night where nobody could see it over here. I come out the next morning, covered it up where nobody could see it. I go out of here in the morning, go back and get mine out by Captain Ben's restaurant, and we make a tour all the way around the island and wind up to the preservation building.
You would decorate it, and you want to keep it a secret until it was time.
People that come to the island enjoyed it, they come here special for it anymore.
Yeah, I imagine.
I built for a lot of people on the island. A lot of people I built for, I've done it on that phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done it from, you say you from Morehead or
Yeah, actually Gloucester.
Gloucester?
Uh-huh.
I built a home here back in a place called Widgeon Woods for a judge, a
Where is
Superior
that?
Court judge.
I've heard of that. Where's Widgeon Woods?
It's all the way around Silver Lake.
Uh-huh.
It winds off to a dirt road. You heard.
Ah.
Starn Store is,
Yep.
if you get down, you're walking. If you're not walking, you're driving, you got to drive all the way around and come back and then go in. But if you're walking, Starn Store.
Ah.
Go right, walk right straight, leave it on your back, walk right straight down the little road, just a little distance, right near that shop.
Right.
Make a left turn and take you back in down the road this way.
Now,
I built the first house in I ever built,
were you born in right here? Where were you born? Which house?
1928.
Which
I
house?
can't even, okay. Now, I was born right here.
In this house?
I was born, if I point right there, pinpoint it right there underneath that room, where that room's at.
How'd you get it? Your mother was underneath the room?
No, my house I was born in was right underneath this, where this one's at.
Ah.
Then my first wife built this one.
Oh, I see. So you built it on the foundation of your home place.
Right, I built it up.
Well,
And I seen the water coming inside that door.
is that right?
And what we used to do when we growed up, people had to, you notice some of the old houses right down on the ground. People weren't scared of the water.
Uh-huh.
They're scared of the wind.
Yeah.
And they got a wrecking coming into them on the beach.
Oh, they built low to keep out of the wind.
Keep out of the water. Yeah, out of the wind.
And then when the water rose up, they would just let it in.
Well, what we had, you may not believe this, but it's true. You may not never hear it again. My father drilled holes in the corners of the floors and all the way around, put wooden stoppers going down the level of the floor. Well, the old house had no bracing, no nothing. There's a big oak tree under on this corner, right over
Uh-huh.
here, sit right by where you sat.
Right.
And he drilled a hole with a handbrake into it. He cut it off with a
Yeah.
cross-cut saw, cut it off. And then he drilled a hole in it. And about a half a mile up here, up this road,
Mm-hmm.
there's a fellow up there by the name of George Wood. He's an old carpenter, built boat. And everybody had a garden. They go out and take the hoe and heel over potatoes that, pull them over after the wind boat them down.
Right.
And he drilled a hole with a hand brace, take a Merkle stick, about that big around, and he cut a trench in it, about that long, cut a trench,
Mm-hmm.
and poured black powder in that hole where he drilled it, gun shells, powder out,
Really?
every kind. And he dumped it down in there, and then he'd pack it. And then he put a wick in that trench where he cut it,
Uh-huh.
take a hammer and drive that thing down inside that.
Yeah.
And then when he'd do it, he'd set that off. He'd kerosene, wick. He'd set it far and back off. See what it did. 2, 3 of them.
Why would he do that?
Tried to blow that stump up.
Oh.
Tried to blow it up, get it out of the wood.
Yeah.
So he got tired of it. This
I
is the
gotcha.
story on it.
Right.
He got tired doing it. And one day he set it off. He'd do it 3 or 4 times trying to get it. And it oak. You don't bust the oak. You don't tie that tree down that good. Got a
Right.
tap root that runs straight down
Mm-hmm.
to the water. And you can't tie it up. I seen it stand like back there on the end. Places where they had to come out. I took no tree out. I made my business make sure. I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
And the man up here in the garden peeling his potatoes, that when he set that off, that thing went in the air like a missile and struck right to his feet. And he bought it here and gave it to my daddy, where he sharpened it with his knife and everything, cut
Really?
a trench in it.
Gosh.
And he got tired fooling with it, and finally he took the crosscut saw and cut it off the height he wanted it, and set the sill of the house I was born in on it. He set that for many years. And then when I tore the house down, it was 90-year-old. They, can you imagine the carpenter work 90 years ago? They didn't have the lumber, beaded ceiling in the rooms, on the wall. That's all they could get.
Yeah.
You seen what I'm talking about?
I
Beaded
have,
with.
yeah.
Okay, so,
That beadboard stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where I tore some out to look, see what was behind it, 30, 40 inches before there's anything. Just a thin board drove in there just to support the beams upright.
Right.
And I tried to tack it down. I had one awfully time. Me and my wife, we never had a bathroom.
You had an outhouse.
Back then, people had out on the back porch a big old pan, waste pan,
Oh, right.
and they had a pan hanging on a nail, and had a pitcher pump, and we had gutters on the roof. We called gutters in the cistern, and the cistern had screen wire on the top and the outlet, so the air could circulate.
Right.
The water didn't get stagnated, and if you drink it, you could pump it right in the kitchen sink. We had no electric, and it had a pitcher pump like in the sink. You pump it right
Oh, I gotcha.
in there. And then one year I got it in my head. I was too old, maybe 20, 21. I left the island, going 3.5 years. I got it in my head that I was going to rig me up a bathroom. No hot water heater, no electric. Lamp light every night. Wick, kerosene wick light. If you had a mantle lamp, which is a regular gas light, that's white gas, you burnt, you're wealthy.
Oh, is that right?
Man, and believe it or not, what I'm going to tell you, outdoor Johnny House, if you had a two-seater, you were wealthy. you were, yeah, you were wealthy. I ain't telling you nothing wrong, man. This is
I
fact.
imagine. Was that like a his and hers?
Yeah, his and hers, right on the door. And if you went out there, and nobody bothered them seats, they were very clean. And on the back of them, they had a hook on the door, on the back. And you go out and unhook that, and lift it up and hook it. And you go outside, dig a hole, and you get inside with a hook and pull it out.
Right.
And then you lightly cover it. You throw a line, what we call slack line.
What kind of line?
It's called slack.
Slack line.
Slack line. They use it on gardens and where you plant stuff.
Is it the same stuff they put on nets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing. You put it on, years ago, you don't do it no more because of nylon.
Right.
You had cotton nets, you done it.
Because I was looking at Mr. Ronald's old cotton nets, and he was telling me about that.
Some of them got a lot of them. Yeah, I used to have a lot of them.
Really?
I got rid of all of it, and I become a builder. I got into that. I haul lumber in here, a lot of lumber. There were no trucks. I go across the mainland and get it all the way up to Portsmouth, Virginia. Go on half the night, come back that night, sleep in the truck. Down here where I got across, I went across it on the other side when the first one ever went across that.
Really?
We had on Model T Ford or sailboat. We sailed. We went down what we call Starnes Hill.
Where is that?
It's all the way to where the Hatteras Ferry comes across.
Oh, Starnes Hill.
Over to your right, there's a big sand hill, and finally they hauled it away. They should have never allowed it.
Why'd they haul a hill away?
Up in here. They hauled it out. Later on, people got
This
truck.
way?
Got truck. No highway.
Mr. Ronald was telling me that this used to be real swampy back in there,
all the-
marshy.
I had laid these big old wooden Pepsi crates from the door to get to the road. And all they went down, and there was what we call a wooden spout, where you walk across.
A wooden spout?
A wooden spout, made out of boards. And you dry pieces down, and then you put a top on it,
Oh.
like a house or a roof.
Right.
And the water circulated under, And we had one out there, had one right here, the water circulated run through.
Really?
All these ditches that you see it come from. The WPA. You ever hear of it?
Yep.
Okay. But I was like a young boy, 7, 8 years old. I seen them in there, the shovel handle sticking up. No work here. The county paid them.
They dug those ditches by hand?
By hand. And threw them out. And all these were dug by hand.
Is that when the water went down?
Drains of hand.
Oh.
Over here in this campground, and man owned that, he's from Kansas. He came there during the war, married a woman over here that I knew. Well, in fact, I didn't only know her, she was my family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you live on Ocracoke back when I come up here, you married your kin.
Yeah, your cousins and stuff?
Yeah, they weren't, who else? Yeah, who went to New York? Nobody went to New York. No, I didn't.
Right.
And I married Waha.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear of that?
Yes, I have heard of that.
Wahab.
Wahab.
Waha.
Waha.
That's Arabian.
Oh, really?
I always told my wife she come in on an Arabian horse. And that's where these ponies come from. Yeah, they jump ship and come ashore. Yeah, that's how come I'm be here. It's almost like Chincoteague.
Yeah.
Had a pen to run up in the woods. I used to run them.
Really?
And I'd catch them. I'd try to rope them in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Me and that boy, you tell you.
Yeah.
We run them. They put us out at Hatteras Island. And we run them, picking up 10, 5, 15, 20 as we went. And
You were on horseback?
I went on horseback. No, we were running by foot.
Oh.
And they put us out so, but won't nobody get down there. You know, they kind of put us out. That's just what we wanted.
Right.
To run, there were sheep, cows running wild, goats, everything. And then we'd run them. We leave the cows. Sometimes we run the cows and pin them because you had to on kind of kicks. Had dipping bats. You run them through these sand hills. When they come off, they couldn't sleep. They jump right in the bat and go on out. They're dipping.
Right.
Kill the fleet of people.
Oh.
That big. And the county wouldn't allow it. State either. To let them be suffered like that.
Oh, right.
That's what the reason for it is a good law. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So what'd they make you do? Just shoot them all or pen them up or something?
Well, if they got real bad, they come in and check them. And if they got real bad, like to eat up the souls from them or whatever, they couldn't do that. You had to shoot them.
Ah.
You had to shoot them.
Yeah.
And we killed our own meat here. We went down and we killed a meat, a steer, a young steer or something, and we divided it. 3 or 4 people. And we had marks.
Oh, yeah.
You ever hear of that?
Like those brands?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a brand.
It was a mark.
Horses were branded.
Ah.
Horses, coat, and all was branded. They were pinned and they were branded.
So what's a mark? A
Over
notch.
2, under 2, and over 1. Take a knife out, cut V shape.
Everybody had their own special notch.
Right? It's registered like the land to your property. It's in the county right now.
It's registered.
You ever hear of that?
I think I have heard of those notches.
That's true.
I'd like to see
Notches.
that.
1 over, 2 under,
Uh-huh.
that kind of thing. And
Wow.
it's marked right on there. And if you went down, you saw a beast running, you look at him, 2 slots right here in his ear.
Yep.
1 over top. That was mine. My mark.
You had 1 under, 2 over?
Yeah. That was my mark.
How many did you have?
I had, at one time, I had about 30.
Wow.
And I had about 15 horses that I caught. And they were
Right.
given to me for catching them.
Oh, that's
I put a
nice.
root in my pocket when we were running them, and we brought them down to the deep creek. And when they're all on 200 at a time, we'd go in that creek, me and him. Me and him would be running them. And he'd say, "You going to catch one today?" I said, "Yeah." And I reached back, I was running, had it in my pocket, my piece of rope.
Uh-huh.
And we had a special knot that we tied, and when we catch them in that deep water just for hit out, we pick one out and get it, help us.
Oh,
He was swimming. Feet were
right.
on the bottom. But it was about 30, 40 feet across that creek, and when he come up out of 200 of them at a time, you ain't never heard his snow
Oh, my gosh.
thunder. When they come out of that, they were hitting, there were people going like that, and you were on them right in the middle of them.
Did you notch them when they were in the water?
Not the horses,
No.
the cows.
Oh, the cows you notched.
The cows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Right.
then we marked the sheep.
Uh-huh.
We shared them.
Right.
Share, put them up, had a platform built,
Uh-huh.
start them up on it. Share and take the bull, send it off.
Oh.
They're bare naked. You got nothing to do. It's something, I tell you. But that kind of thing, like me and him,
Uh-huh.
Maurice Ballance, when we growed up, that's what we had. that's what we done for have something to do.
Right.
We look forward to it, like
Yeah.
Shinkatig
Yeah.
does it today. But when
Right.
the park took over, which was called CC camps
Uh-huh.
back then, they went from where he's at now a mile out and put metal studs down with tied sand fences to it. That's what it was. One part's hurt. CC workers,
CC workers.
CC camp.
I gotcha.
And then they all turned it over to Park, National Park.
Do you remember when that happened?
Yeah, I worked for the park.
Oh, what'd you do?
I worked for everybody, because that's the way it was.
Right.
And the
Were you
job
a
might not
ranger?
last too long, but I got at 2 o'clock in the morning, heard a loud noise down here to the park, to the Navy dock.
Uh-huh.
I went down there and begged for a job. I didn't ask for it, I begged for it.
Yeah.
My daughter was here, and I lost 7 children. And if you come back, you may not notice if you come in from Hatteras,
Uh-huh.
or if you go back from Hatteras, you go across the Organic Bridge, and you
Right.
cross it on the north end, going across. You look over, you see a striped lighthouse,
Mm-hmm.
black stripe. I threw my wife up there, here, and my man had a private plane, and we jumped off the land here by the Coast Guard station on the Pamlico Fine Flight.
Right.
I took my wife up there, she was miscarriaging.
Oh.
And I left here, went down to the lake, and a man come running behind me and told me, you got to get back home. And I turned around and come back like something crazy, coming back. And when I walked in that door, it was bad, it was real bad. Like I say, we were close kin,
Yeah.
and it lasted hardly any time at all.
Oh.
And that one in particular, I'll never forget it. I got my wife, she scared to death that plane.
Yeah.
And the man here owned a business, little business, just come here. Bill Cochran is the man's name. And I went and got him. Went away out of here. He was stuck.
Right.
And I went and got him, asking if he would fly me and my wife out of here. And I swore above that my wife would never stay here again like that.
Yeah.
If she ever got that way, I'd move her out of here the minute I found out.
Yeah.
And I moved her to Beaufort.
Oh, you
I went
did?
down to Beaufort, carried her down to Beaufort, and I found a woman up there that had nobody, and I paid her about a month or a week, whatever it might be.
Right.
She had nothing, no income, and my wife stayed there with her. And when he was taken, the doctor checked on her
Uh-huh.
at the house, and I got a call when they took her, put her in the operating room, and they took that, and that's my daughter's living now.
Oh, I
She's
got you.
over 30 years old.
So that one turned out okay.
Yeah, and the devil's let go, and she don't stop for nothing.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing she won't do. She'd been in everything under the sun, and if you could see some of the things, you wouldn't believe it that she'd done.
Yeah.
20-some years rescue here on the island. Never had no ambulance. She worked out of a little Volkswagen.
She
All the
was a
radio-
rescue squad?
Huh?
She was like a rescue, she was a paramedic?
Yeah, paramedic.
Ah.
She was the first one that went to Norfolk General
Mm-hmm.
and Greenville, Newbern, and went to them hospitals, worked in the operating room with the doctors to give her right to give you a sharp shot.
Oh, right.
I mean, that paramedics can't do that
Yeah.
unless you're well trained for it.
Well, how many living children do you have?
I had that one.
And you lost 7 others?
One of them was when I took her up, I was a boy.
Uh-huh.
It was old enough to tell what it was. That,
They were all miscarriages like that?
yeah.
Oh,
I tell you what, that got me.
yeah.
That really got me. And then my daughter come up, and which she wound up being the favorite.
Yeah, imagine.
Anything she wants, she cut it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. I walked away from her, had to correct her. Yes, I did. I never do. Her mother did. And it was like a thing to do. She'll call 10 times a day here on that phone.
She lives still on the island. Oh, where's she?
She married a man first time, older than she was, and she left me a letter telling me that by the time I found out who she was, her last name would be Mrs. Yarborough.
Oh.
And he owned A&T Steels in Kentucky.
Wow.
Yeah, she owned all kinds of property in Kentucky.
Right.
They built a house right to the foot of Kings Mountain. If you walk through the island and see a house up there that's got a wire fence all the way around it,
Uh-huh.
they got a mailbox outside like it's got wings on it.
Uh-huh.
That was her home. They built it.
In Kentucky?
No, here.
Oh, they built it here.
On the island.
Oh.
And then they went to Kansas, and they hired a man. He was here. He works right now with this company. Because the Perry Paint Glass Company in Louisville City.
Mm-hmm.
He was here 2 days ago sitting on that couch. He flew my daughter and put me in the air the first time.
Oh, really?
And they come back. He's why he's sitting like that. And like I said, my daughter was we got rescued here. I don't know how many people even going out here in the car. She took them from here. No clinic, no nothing.
Right.
And she had a telephone for the Coast Guard helicopter in Louisville City. And then she had it for the Marine base, Cherry Point.
Right.
And then she had it for the Coast Guard down here to take you out of here in that boat. So there's 3 different ways. And a man was coming in from halfway to Currituck, back up in there, coming in, and the wind died out, sailboat, and he had a little remoter, so he threw the raft overboard, and his daughter got on it. Little bit of raft, like that did. Had her feet in the water. And shark come up, grabbed her right through here, and he went off and come back again and grabbed her through that.
Really?
First time I ever heard of such thing in my life ever, in this time. Yeah. And I waited, they told every tale in the book, they told everything, they added on and kept adding on, and I wiped it out of my mind, I didn't want to hear it. But when my daughter called, and the Coast Guard helicopter was out on maneuvers, they couldn't come, they were out somewhere else. And she called Coast Guard down here, and the boats was all out with the Coast Guard here, Cherry Point.
Right.
Then she called the Marine Corps, and 3 helicopters come in here. And level right down level with the ground with these baskets they put you in.
Right.
And my daughter got in that basket and never got in the helicopter, and they pulled her off of that raft and let her down. And she crawled off that metal. You've seen them.
Right.
Pictures of them.
Your daughter put the girl on it?
No. My daughter got in it out here.
I see.
The helicopter went down. My daughter crawled in it, and they flew her off where that girl was there.
I got you.
And my daughter crawled off on that raft with her and tourniquet. Started to bleed.
Wow.
And I didn't know what it was. I was trying to wait till she come home so I could find out how big the bite was.
Right.
And I didn't know till she come home where they flew her to Newburgh, set her down in the emergency room. My daughter went in the operating room with her, stayed with her until it was all done, and they put her in the room.
Did she live?
She come back here about 2 years later.
Oh.
Barely could walk. She was limping bad on it, right down to the bone.
Oh, so she was from Ocracoke.
Yeah. No, the girl?
Yeah.
No. It was a tourist here. Her daddy was here. You know, they come in on boats a lot of times like that. And anyway, first ambulance that we ever had on this island, her father wrote a check and give it to Ocracoke Rescue Squad here.
Wow.
And then out here where we're stranded like we are, they give my daughter that right to take that course. And then with a certificate of completion, they give you any kind of shot.
Any kind of what?
Any kind of a shot.
Really?
A needle. Yeah.
Huh.
Any kind. And then they come up with a clinic. They built the clinic. She was still in it. But she's right up down the road. There's 5 people executed. Right after you turn this corner by the anchorage.
5 people?
Catamaran. Big tall mast. They come in from across the sound. My wives drove around. And they come in the lake here, and when they went to pull that boy, 18-year-old, grabbed the rope, got overboard and was pulling it up. And it went up like that. That great. And that mast hit that high tension wire.
Oh my God.
And let me fight everything. Blew that boy's legs off. He was standing in the water this deep and blew it right off.
Did
My
they
daughter was
die?
the first one to them. Yeah, killed them all.
Oh.
Every last one of them. My daughter, what saved her, I don't know. Because she jumped out, run right out there to them.
Right.
And she was coming around the road and heard it. The frack, and it hit.
Oh.
It hit all 5 of them. And that mast was just as black.
Really?
Just as black as it could be.
What year was that? Do you remember?
It's been over 15 years ago.
Yeah.
About 20 something. But anyway, she had didn't know where to put them. And they put them in body bags and took them down and park at a outbuilding. And she took them and put them in body bags and took them down there. And then she had to go to the hotel for a while. They drove around. They go down and tell them what had happened. And that one woman told her, no, you're a liar. Nothing like that couldn't have happened. And when I jumped into my daughter, and some woman that I was with, that woman kind of grabbed her and pulled her off of her. She had her down.
Right.
Yes, she did. And after that, she was going out of here with a man that had run off in the ocean, riptide. And my brother tried to get to him, he couldn't. He was on South Point. And my brother went out there, saw him. And he got in that riptide, and he finally got over one of the big buoys and crawled up on it.
Oh my gosh.
And finally he got wind and that, got his breath enough where he could fight his back and got back to the beach. That man didn't. He got off there and got under, went under.
Yeah.
And I don't know just how, or somebody was off there. They got that man, took him back, staying to the wagon wheel. Went in, set the suitcases down, a little colored boy and his boy. Brought him with him. And they took him out here to the clinic. And they got him around and got him coming to, and then they transported him by car, no ambulance, to up the beach.
Right.
And then they took him from up the beach, where the ambulance were, Dare County, and transported him on. She was going out on the beach, and he told her, pull over. And when she looked down at him, he turned right purple.
Really?
Or his face right here, and he told her, he said, honey, you're doing all you can. Ain't nothing you can do for me. I'm going.
What was the matter with him?
He
Drowned?
died of a heart attack.
Oh, he had a
Purple.
heart attack.
Turned right purple. And she turned around and told that driver on that thing and told her to turn around. Turned around, brought him back in, shot him out there, and they transferred him back. There wasn't no more yet, or nothing like that.
What's your daughter's name?
Vivian.
Vivian.
And now she's a Hennings, and she was married to the man, he died. That he's a good man, and he owned A&T Steel. He put the cable across the mountains in Kentucky.
Oh my goodness.
Where the railroad cars come by load coal.
Well, where does she live now?
She lives in Avon, and she took flying lessons.
Oh,
They bought an airplane. I tried to tell you a while ago when I got off of it.
Is she still Vivian Hennings? Is that
Yeah,
her name?
she's Hennings now.
Is she the one that takes you to the doctor when you have to go? Who takes you to the doctor?
She did work with the sheriff's department.
Oh.
Yeah, she quit this job. She had a problem, and she took him to court, the county. He went. They took it to Raleigh.
Right.
And people in Raleigh was on the jury, had never been on Ocracoke, and never had they ever gone off of Ocracoke, and they had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And if you stay on Ocracoke for 3 days, you will know
Oh yeah.
what the possibility is getting off
Right.
and what it means.
Yeah.
If you look, I've seen people cuss and rage, holy hell, I was on this long.
Yeah.
People sit right here. If I got ready to go off, I'd come back on that ferry. I can't sit in that hot sun.
No.
Ain't no way I can do it.
No.
And people emergency off the island, so we got a sticker that goes on the windshield of the car.
Oh, the priority sticker.
Priority sticker.
That's good.
And if you have a driver's license, North Carolina driver's license, and you own a home on this island, then you can get that sticker. Otherwise, you cannot get it
Right.
for no reason.
Well, that's good.
And if the people in line has a problem, they got an emergency that they can have you to the emergency room
Yeah.
quicker than you would be if you're in Moreese City or if you're in a local city. And it's been that way.
Who takes you to the doctor?
Here on the island, they come get you.
Really?
Come to the house. Take you right to the clinic.
Is that right?
Take you right up and take you right in.
There's a service that
Yeah,
does that?
right.
That's
I go
nice.
there. I got to go there the 19th to a heart surgeon. And I was going to tell you about this.
What's the name of the service?
The surgeon,
No, the people that come pick you up. What is that?
it's Hyde County Medical Service.
Well, that's nice.
It's right on the ambulance. And that man I told you helped pay for that ambulance.
So even
Now
if
they got
it's-
through it.
If it's a routine, they'll still come get you and take you?
Yeah.
Well, that's
The other morning I called, unless you call somebody yourself, I
right.
fell here by myself. My wife's mother died, and she was back in West Virginia again. And when I fell, I didn't know that. It was like that. And it went under my foot, where I couldn't see it. And I went to the doctor about this. to get around. I kind of had a problem getting up because I was losing strength in my legs.
Yeah.
And I went up to Kitty Hawk, to a doctor by the name of Blair, talked to him about this, signed it right off, gave it to me, sent it right in, had no problem getting it. None of Medicare,
Right.
under my age, and I got it, come back home. I went to bed, and I woke up one morning, felt that little thing kind of stinging. And I looked down, and it looked like a little bitty tomato, about that size.
Uh-huh.
And it looked like you took it and done that with.
Yeah.
And it come through my toe, and I didn't know it. And I got a little mirror laid down in the floor, held my foot over top of it, and I sat on the side of the bed and looked down. I couldn't look on the bottom of my foot.
Yeah.
I'll be limb or something if I get the foot up like that. I looked down, man, and the crazy thing I saw, and all that was, I looked down with the mirror, and it was coming through here like a sweet potato web. Coming through there, I called my nephew, he owns South Point Fish Company. I called.
Murray Fulcher?
Yeah.
That's your nephew?
That's my nephew.
That's nice. I know
Here
Murray.
he come.
Uh-huh.
Come right up here, and I told him, I said, you got to take me to the clinic. I said, I done something here, I don't know what I done, I don't remember. And I was thinking all the time of it. He took me to the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me on. They carried me on. He carried me to Avon, and my daughter picked me up there.
Ah.
And you asked me a while ago what she did.
Right,
Okay,
right.
she worked at Dare County Sheriff's Department,
Ah.
and then they closed it.
Yeah.
And the counties, like Frisco, they had it where the big water tower was at,
Right.
right to the foot of it. That's where she stayed at most of the time.
Yeah.
And when they closed it, she wouldn't take it. They wanted her to go to Manio, and she would go there occasionally. But she had a breakout there one time. A man crawled behind the bed, took a spoon, and was digging out the concrete block
In the jail?
in jail. And he set the Bible for her in there. And where they got the matches, don't know. And I seen him come down here on a truck, lumber truck.
Why did he set the Bible on fire? Just to-
Get attention. Get attention, and what they're doing, they're holding him. And the jail up there automatically locks the cells or something like that. Lock you
Right.
up in there. And everything went to locking, the windows and everything.
Right.
And they went looking, and they found him. He was behind the bed. He crawled behind the bed, but they couldn't see him. Had the spoon, that's the only thing he could have, eat with. Knife or fork.
Mm-hmm.
They're holding him, waiting for them to come get him and put him in penitentiary.
Right.
Rape.
Ah.
Yes, he would. They put him away. He's in there now.
Wow.
And he dug, tried to get out. And my
Wow.
daughter said to him, "What were you trying to do? What were you trying to do with that spoon?" He said, "I was trying to dig that block out so I could get out in it." And my daughter said, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to get you another Bible because it was a rule. They had to keep that Bible in there.
Right.
Nothing else but a spoon to eat with."
The spoon and the Bible.
That's it. Where he got matches from, they never did find out. But I seen the smoke here on the beach when he was going out the top of that jail.
Oh, is that bad?
That bad. And I told my daughter that's the same fire that they done when they burned Iwo Jima. Well, I told her, and then my daughter's like that, but now, I mean, she got out of sheriff's job, she went on the internet. She's good with that
Yeah.
thing, all over the world.
Right.
And she learned it on her own
That's good.
and all, and I bought her one a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
And I give it to her. And after she got married, she moved off the island. And then
Right.
she married him, and now he is over first lieutenant. And what? Are you taping me?
Yeah.
You are.
You didn't know that?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no.
You want me to turn it off?
No, it's all right.
Are you sure? I'll
No.
turn it off.
Yeah, I don't go into advertisement, does it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Like I said, I don't want to say something that
No,
would
no,
offend
no.
anybody.
I'll give you a copy, and if there's anything in there you don't like, I'll take it out.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I don't mean to be that kind of way about it, but I don't want to do something like it.
That's right. Well, you
I'm
know,
so afraid that I will do it, and first thing you know, some child
it's
grows
good.
up.
It's good to be
It
careful.
might be 5 or 6 years from now. Many people come here and do this.
Yeah.
I've had
that's right.
people do it. And
Well, I'll bring this to you, and you read it, and you
Okay.
can tell me what you want out of it.
but
Did you say you worked for the Park Service?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I'll tell you something that you ain't gonna believe when you see it out here. Yeah, I done maintenance or whatever.
Oh.
I went in there and there were no work, so I was glad some when it come. But back then, they would give you a peacetime job, daily, weekly, monthly. Well, there you
Right.
are. And that time comes.
Uh-huh.
Well, what I done with the Park Service, I drove a farm tractor at I call it three-phase, 3 buckets, like a farmer had, pack corn
Right.
and
right.
all. Got a motor on it, old
Uh-huh.
motor, and I drove that. And I had 3 people sitting inside, and we pulled the grass, and we had a man outside walking along with it, drove very slow. And I drove it along
Right.
very slow and dropped it down, had a lever, dropped it down. 3 men sitting on the seat just like this, picking the grass, and this wheel come over, and you put it in it. When it went over, they planted it.
You were planting seagrass?
Spartina. Spartina. And we pulled it.
What year was that? What decade was that?
I've got to stop and think.
That must have been part of the effort to keep the sand dunes up and
It was building back the beach.
building back the beach.
Building back the beach, or we built our own sand fences. It was nowhere near where the CC camp workers done it. There were traces of it,
Right.
like metal pipes rusted off and that kind of thing. And I worked with a man there that had the first job I ever worked with the Park Service on the Outer Bank. His name was Ronald O'Neal.
Elijah O'Neal was the
Elijah
first
O'Neal.
Park Service worker.
And he worked with me there, and we went on the beach. We caught our lunch. Lunchtime come, we sat down and we eat our lunch, and we worked all day. 4 o'clock in the evening, we shut everything down and come back in.
Right.
Park Service truck,
Ah.
and they reported into the office, checked in, and we pulled that grass going down Highway 12, going out of Ocracoke, a half a mile
Wow.
over to the left. We went in there and pulled grass for 2 days. We put it up on a truck, shoved it up, Spartina.
And then you planted it.
And the next day we planted.
Ah.
We went along and they had a man that pulled the grass off the truck
Right.
and put it in the feeders.
Right.
And the people sat down and pulled it out, put it in the little things that planted it.
Right.
And Highway 12, if you go out on Highway 12 right now, and where the road turns, after you get all the way out, where the road goes over to the beach, you make that turn.
Right.
It's a slightly turn. We started right there, and it was Ball Beach, nothing.
Bald beach, nothing there.
Flat sand, nothing, no trees, no grass, no nothing.
Black sand?
White sand,
White sand.
beach gravel, shell, shipwrecks,
I got you.
all down the beach.
And it was flat.
Flat
until
beach,
they built those dunes.
nothing.
Yeah.
All the way beyond the first bridge,
Huh.
going down, nothing. Nothing but sand.
Wow.
And I'd get on that tractor, and when I'd come up to a shipwreck, I'd pull it up, pull the lever up, the men in the seat come right up with it, and I'd swing out and go around it, and back up and put it back down again. They plant the grass.
That's something, isn't it?
Well, then we make the man that's walking along, he was maintaining to catch up what we lost. And his name was
Hunter Robinson.
Hunter Robinson. And he always smoked his cigarettes, and when he'd go, he'd say he'd get the best of me by taking his cigarettes out, putting his grass up under his arm, and take his time and light his cigarette. After he light his cigarette, he'd look at me and say, "Take that." I'd say to him, no, I'm not going to take that. You're going to take it, or you're going to plant the missing. Probably 20 feet. He had to plant 3 rows
Right.
of grass.
Uh-huh.
And he'd do that way. You know?
Oh my gosh.
He was real old fellow.
He was an old fella and he would make that gesture to you?
Kid and carry on.
Yeah.
4 5 good job. It paid like park pays.
Do you think it was good to plant that grass? Was it
Yeah.
a good project?
Yeah, what I want to tell you, go out there and look at it.
Okay.
Go, like I told you, slight turn.
Right.
If you got your car, if you go back that way,
Yeah.
on the right-hand side as you drive Highway 12,
Uh-huh.
look at it.
After you leave the village, all along there?
Look, nope, not there.
Where?
You drive straight out like you're doing toward the ocean.
Uh-huh.
And the airport,
Yep.
you know where that's at?
Yep.
All right, if you make the turn, hit you back toward Hatteras.
Right.
Slight
okay.
turn. If you point over to the right there, from there all the way down beyond the first bridge that
Wow.
you go into.
That's where you
The
planted.
whole thing. Spartina grass was all we planted.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Now Now it's all grass.
I walked through there one time and looked at it, checked it out.
How has it changed?
They are yoke pine, red berries, cedar trees, yoke pine. They are fig trees. They are every tree that ever come in this world as God planted himself.
Wow. Yeah.
Have you got the slightest idea how they got that?
No. Birds?
People pass it every day. You never think about it.
Probably birds dropping seeds, but the grass probably made everything where it wouldn't blow
The grass
away.
stopped the seed from blowing away. Had been the wind would blow them away. The grass stopped them. And when they did, most times if you sit throw the grass in the ground like that, the wind blow around it, and it'll leave a crevice in the sand. If that seed get down in that, come another wind blowing from the other way, covers it up. Next thing you know, here comes the tree.
Yep, I got you. Well, do you think the Park Service did a lot of good then?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. They saved the whole beach.
Well, some people are upset about that they took their land or something. Or...
We owned that land. My grandmother owned it.
You did?
All of it.
Really?
The whole works.
What was your grandmother's name?
Charlotte O'Neal. There's a book out on it. She was midwife here on the island.
Is that right?
And Ronald O'Neal here, birth certificate. And mine and Moreese is the same one. And we're about 3 months difference in age.
Yep.
All of us. And their birth certificate, and I'll pull mine out. You can't see it, but I'll show it to you in a minute. It's so old that it's folded together in my pocketbook, and if you try to pull it out, it's that old. I wrote by hand, and it's on record in the county.
Did your grandmother deliver you?
Yeah. And my grandmother was a midwife, and they called her. There's a book here wrote on her here on the island by the name of Charlotte O'Neal. She was O'Neal.
And how'd she come to own all that land?
Well, it come through my mother and daddy. I got a book, a history on my mother family and my father both in 1700. I hired a lady out of the archive by the name of Caroline Cunningham, retired. I hired her after she retired to help me search my family record, the Jackson record.
So your grandmother sold the land to the Park Service?
Well, her daughter's name did. My grandmother was too old.
Oh.
I took her off the island, and she hadn't been off the island 50 years, and got her fitted for a hearing aid.
Yeah.
And she could hear things like that.
Right.
The high spot door closed. That screen door shut. He was just like this.
Right.
I sat down every Sunday right in front of her, right down here, and told her that you got anything you want to ask me. And then she'd ask me things that happened. What happened today, what happened yesterday.
That's nice.
Big old silver hair, bun in the bun,
Yeah.
pins in the back, little short round old toilet.
Yeah.
And she learned me many things. I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I imagine.
And when we grew up, like I told you a while ago, we had no showers, we had no bathroom, that kind of thing. And we took the pan, went out on the back porch.
Yeah. Washed up.
Have you ever tried? And we had a lot of problems with what we call carbuncle, back of your neck, up in this part.
Right.
Big old carbuncle would come up, had 3 or 4 coals in it. It's painful.
Yeah. It's
Very
like a
painful.
sore.
Come into a sore, you couldn't turn your head.
Yeah.
So she was excellent. Nobody wouldn't believe it. They need to go look it up and read it.
And she knew what to
And
do.
what I'm going to tell you right here now, I know it'll be fact what it happened to me. Come home in the evening, that thing would come up there with 3 and 4 coals in it. You know what I mean when I say coal?
Yeah, like those crusty sores.
It's a sore, a little thing that looks almost like toothpaste.
Oh.
It's in it hard, very painful. You can't turn your head. And what she would do, believe this or not, it's an old-timey remedy. She'd come in the house and take salt pork and take a knife and slice it. Real thin, as thin as she could cut it, hold that where you could almost see through it. Piece about 2 inches, maybe an inch square. And take that and slap it right on the head of that thing. Take a white piece of rag, tie it around it.
Around your neck.
Go to bed. Now, what do you think? What would you think that salt pork would do to that?
Well, I have no idea. Would it cure it?
Okay, it works.
It would
It
would
works.
it draw it out? Yeah.
It draws it to a head,
Ah. Right.
pulls it up. Next morning, she'd take you out on the porch with a pan of warm water, where you could buy it, white wash rag, laid on top of it, like the smoke's coming out of it.
Right.
That gets softened.
Yeah.
Softening all of it up. While she's doing all that, she's pulling her dress up,
Uh-huh.
clean up the hair. Petticoat, clean pole. You ever heard people doing that?
Yeah.
Having that?
Oh, petticoats? Yeah.
Petticoat, buckle up shoes, clean up his dot. She pulled that dress up in her lap, had her snuff box all in her lap. Did snuff, a little brush. I had chewing for her.
Uh-huh.
Had apple trees around, you go break them off. Had a mop on the end that you chew it till you make a mop. She didn't have no teeth.
So you made a mop
Made a mop
out
on
of
the
a
end
twig.
of it. Did for snuff.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. And she couldn't do it because she had no teeth. So she was sitting and pulled the rabbit. You turn your dresses up with food. At most dresses, when you turn up, got a seam
Right.
like that. And on that seam's got rabbit. And she pulled in rabbit.
She'd pull all the threads out, and what'd she do with
Put
it?
them out and lay them in her lap till she got enough. So she would pick it up and do them that way.
Twist it?
That's
Make
right.
like a little rope, twine.
And then she'd go in the middle of it, she'd open it up.
Make a little hole in it.
Like a little hole in it. And she'd take it right over top. That cold.
Mm-hmm.
How they work. With all that warm water and all that salt and drilled it right on out, almost
Right.
ready to come. She'd take that in her fingers this way. On one end of it, a hole in it was in the middle. Hold it over top of it, lay it right down on it. Turn it that way. Turn this one this way.
And squeeze.
And pull that knot together. That knot would close. And as it would close, she'd keep raising it. That kind of raising it up.
Right.
And by the time she got it up just right, that was closed. And maybe sometimes she missed one.
Right.
When she put it out, I raise it right on up. Come right on out just like a toothpaste coming out too.
All that pus.
Get it out of there, wash it off real good. Put a white rag around it. The next thing you know, it was healing.
What'd she do with the twig that she made a little mop? Was that just for
No,
snuff?
she dipped her snuff with that.
That was something.
She
I
had
got
that
you.
in her pocket here, where she pulled her
Yeah.
dress up. I remember seeing that.
So she would do all that and then draw the pus out.
Yeah.
And then
Draw it out, and there are no scars.
that must have hurt.
There's no scars. Yeah,
Did
it
it
did
hurt?
hurt. Very painful. But not when she done it.
How come people don't get that anymore?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I was going to tell you the answer to that if you hadn't asked me.
Okay.
Okay. No showers.
Oh, no
Okay.
showers.
Waistband bath. Pan hanging on a nail outside, you go outside. No bathroom. Have you ever tried to take a wash rag and wash the back of your neck with your hand?
It's hard to do.
Take your hand, reach, see how far you can reach.
Yeah.
There's a streak down the back of your neck
Yes.
that you can't reach.
Yeah.
Okay. How clean a bath can you get with a wash rag and a pan?
That too.
That's all they were.
Yeah.
That's all they were.
Wow.
So therefore, that's how come people never could understand how come that they had these things.
Right.
Well, it's too, you weren't clean. You couldn't help it. It weren't that you weren't trying, you did. Nice warm water with soap
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And back that far, my mother and my grandmother, they made their soap. They boiled it out in the yard. They made it out of pig fat
Ah.
that we raised pigs. I had
Yeah.
6 and 7, couldn't get on her feet. Winter time when it froze, that's when we killed them for the meat. We sold it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's still a good life back, and we raised everything. We raised peanuts for the winter. When it come time, I had to come home early. If a hurricane was coming and pull all that up and put it somewhere before the tides come up,
Yeah.
all the tomatoes, and we had a screen underneath the porch where the air could blow through. We threw the peanuts up on there, big as that, 5 and 6 hills we call them.
Right.
Put hills that big around, put peanuts in it, and here they come.
Oh.
Just full starting all that,
Yeah.
hanging like that. And the
Because
Christmas
the
time,
water would come up a lot, wouldn't it?
yeah, come up,
Came
go over
up-
top of them, kill all
Came
the
up
off.
a couple weeks ago, didn't it?
Yeah, it was up there. Fish was jumping out here in the front yard.
You know what Ronald O'Neal told me?
Yeah,
He said that he just bought a bunch of new collared plants because they drowned in that last. And he said this time he went to Walmart and he bought lots of little tiny life jackets
Yeah.
and he's going to put them around every.
I'll tell you now about his name.
Yeah,
If
how'd
you
you
get
get
talk
that
back
call?
to him,
Uh-huh.
But me and him was real small boy. We go out mullet fishing, jumping mullet.
Yep.
And what we do, go 2 boats and we cast them together. And each one would have a net on the back end of the boat. We call it the stern of the boat. And have canvas over top of it so the net wouldn't get hung up.
Right.
Well, we pulled along. He was on one stern of the boat. I was on the other, sitting waiting. Well, the net had what we call a staff with a lead weight. A staff is a round pole about 5 feet long and lead weight on the bottom. That weight will keep down all the time.
Right.
And what we when the man was shoving the head, 2 old men up front shoving, we sitting on the back kicking, giggling, thinking, laughing all the time, like they always do, you know. And we're going along, and back then they raised gourds around the island here, all shaped, all sized. Some of them have that long, some of them that long. And they take a knife, cut the top out of it, and they use it for throw the water out the boat.
Oh, these gourds is a dip.
People, they can do that, and they be shoving along, and they sell mullet jump. And during the day, you watch one. At night, you see the water fire. When they run through the water, kick their tail like it, see the water fire, you sit around. And what they would say...
The water fire? Yeah. That phosphorus stuff.
Yeah, the water was fire. You see the fish and the water running.
Yeah.
So if you get too much of it, you can't catch no fish. Because they're smart enough, they use that protection to get away from you. Gone. Like that.
Yeah.
And during the day, they're jumping. You see 3 jumping, the man on the front with the 2 old fellows. One of them named Dan Garish, really old, and very contrary. Take me fooling off of you. And they would go that way real fast, take that oar and start to shove it like they set away. Well, what?
Oars?
Oars.
You were rowing back then.
Yeah, they're pushing below shallow water. If it's too deep, they paddle. These oars are 16 feet long.
Oh, I got you.
Go that way and make more headway. And they'd holler out, they had this word, they'd holler. Set away. Well, what me and him were supposed to do when they'd done that, we're supposed to jump overboard.
Set away?
Set away. Set away. We're supposed, we're supposed to get overboard. Set away. Set the net.
Right.
Set away. No messing around. No stopping to think.
Yeah.
Overboard. And you grab that staff and jump overboard with it. Both of you stand right there together. They had a little place down on the bottom you put your foot in to hold that staff down so it wouldn't pop up.
Right.
The little fellow wasn't bigger than nothing. And in fact, was so small that staff was floating in him. Right up, pop right up with it. And we hold it down with our foot on it. Here we stand, both of us, standing here like this. He's right here, and I was right here. And he said, "Son away," and I turned around and looked. And he had going way out here. And then shoving him with the oar. And the other one I was on was out here, but I jumped overboard. And when I turned around and looked, he was still sitting on the boat, sitting out this way, singing on the stern, and the biggest time you ever saw.
You talking about
Ronald up here. And this is where he got his name from. The man laid the oar down across the boat, and he was halfway out with the net. The rest of it still on the boat. He's sitting on it. And the man turned around and he went down and took that gourd and walked over to him and hit him right in the head with it, knocked him overboard. Here he comes now. There he comes, just coming around the house. Hit him in the head and says to him, "Conk, take that." With the gourd. "Conk, take that." And he'll come in. Hey! He won't come in, he knows you're here.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's gone. Wait a minute. Ain't none of it, all these, the facts, just like the figure, I don't mind.
He didn't hear? Is that why they call him conk? Because you didn't hear the guy say so?
Oh, yeah, he heard him.
He was
Oh,
ignored.
boy, like
I
he was going to devil him. Make sure he didn't do it. Yeah, he's been that way. He's that way now. You can't slow him down. He's working all the time.
Yeah.
He's doing something all the time. He got a big truck wrapped around here. They'd like to kill both of them. He's wiping him both.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
he did. He was in the hospital a long time. Long time. He had a bad problem. If you'll notice, his shoulders down like this. That truck, wrecked that truck, broke right in half.
On the island?
No, on the mainland.
Ah.
They're going off. Never did know what happened for sure. But him and his wife were in bad shape.
Yeah.
They had a shape where he had all down,
Oh.
nothing on it.
Well, they're mighty lucky, aren't
I'll
they?
tell you this. I don't want to take that because I don't want to even know. There's stories about him and all, and he had a horse.
Sam Jones?
Sam Jones, all the Berkeley Center, back here. He only got out of his main room over here. I worked for him up there. I drove a little tractor he had, a farm tractor. And another man by the name of Floyd Gospel, me and him worked together. We'd all Sam in that. And he had a horse that was named Teach. He had a great old big birthmark on his side, the horse did. And that man had race horses on the mainland. It cost $100,000. And he thought more of that horse. He set out every night and talked to that horse in the yard. So,
did he name him after the pirate?
huh?
Did he name him after the pirate?
Teach.
Teach.
Well, didn't like where he come from because he owned Teach's horse.
I got you. Yeah.
Teach's horse and all that property back there. Thank God they took it where nobody can do it on it. I'm glad.
That's Park Service land now?
No, going to the island took a grant. The grant. Sent in for a grant.
That's recently, right? What's that called? There's another name for it.
It's
I can't remember.
Teach's hole up there. I was going to tell you something about that. They won't let me forget it. I'll tell you just a minute. Wait a minute. Man lived down there long ago. He didn't live down, kept chickens down there by the name of Rob Hank. That. And he talks to people, you know, and he won't offer nothing, but that's the way he would.
Right.
He would think he would. People loved to talk to him. They'd give him quarter, 50 cents. And he'd go to the coffee station every morning and get his coffee. And then he'd keep that coffee. And he loved his coffee cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, but anyway, this man Sam Jones, I still try to think of the name of it.
Yeah.
But there were no road in there. And he to bear that horse down there where the Teach's hole is. His hole is out in the water. Rock pile runs off. It's on the other side of it.
Right.
That's where they claim by book that there was a big hidden swim around the boat 3 times. It's up around Curry Tech because they drug with long haul net, funnel barrels, old-timey musket.
Oh, they found out.
And Maynard, a man by the Maynard in the Navy, stopped him. And if he hadn't run aground, they never would caught him. And that's where they got him. But anyway.
So did he bury his horse down there?
Yeah, I carried him down there.
My gosh.
I had a big dump truck.
You carried the horse?
I carried him down there, put him on the dump truck. Me and the man worked with me by the name of Bud Starr. We done a lot of work together.
Yeah.
And we filled a lot of land. We pumped a lot of land in before Army Corps ever took it. And there were no law against it. Sound shoals, White Creek Banks, all up here. Water, where I built a house for a doctor out of Charleston, West Virginia, 40 years ago this year. I built the septic.
Oh.
And
did he cry when his horse died?
oh yeah, man. He, some things I don't know where I ought to say it or not, but his family. I don't like to say things like it. Sometimes down the line he might get a hold of you, but it's true.
Yeah.
Things that I'm saying. I carried that horse down there for him, and he paid me.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having strong feelings towards
What
your
I'm
horse.
not holding back, I'm not saying because I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
That's fine. I took that big truck I had and took that horse in the silence. Where the green house is at, down.
Right.
Well, you go by the lighthouse, there's a little green house. They just built another one. That green house belonged to my mother-in-law, Eliza Austin. And then she become Wahab.
Okay.
Harvey Wahab. Wahab, we call it.
Wahab,
And the family's all buried up here in the archway of the
I
cemetery.
saw that. It's beautiful.
But my wife, Colleen Wahab, is buried with my mother and father. That's where she wanted to be buried. With them. She said she only felt like that's the only mother and father she ever had. So she grew up a little girl and all. But I carried that horse down there, and he had a man that called him around, had a little book that he wrote down.
Right.
And he says, Stevie, when I dump the horse off, put the dump on the horse, slip right off. And he says, Stevie, make a note. Goes right out. And he said, just a minute, Stevie. He said, before you make the note that I'm going to write, here, I want you to write for me. I want you to pay these two men $200 fee for bringing my horse down here.
Wow, that's a lot
He
of
said,
money.
Mr. Jones says we don't have no that's what he was. Mr. Jones, we don't have that kind of money on pocket. He said, go to Jack Willis's store. Man right by the name of Jack Willis. Run that dock site that's down there now, right off in the water. And get it. And when you get back here, I want you to pay each one of these men $200 fee. And then he wouldn't let us leave. Either one of them. Let us stay there. And he says, Stevie, now take the note on that. He says, I want my horse buried here. As is. I want a white picket fence put around it. And when I die, you people are the witness of this. He said, when I die, I want to be buried standing up here with my horse.
Oh.
And he went on, he buried the horse, put a white fence around it. There was a house out in it. Old house with a surround system. And outside where they kept the slavery, is that what they used to punish them if they done something wrong.
Right.
There's a little house out, about as big as the Johnny house, out the old Johnny house, had steel bars for you to peep out. No window.
Was this his property? He had slaves? He was a very wealthy man.
That I did. And then, no, ma'am, I'm
I mean,
sorry.
his ancestors.
Yeah, his ancestors,
Right.
or the people back then had slaves.
They
Everybody
used
had
to
them.
own that property.
Yeah, way back.
Gotcha.
And people owned it, and they had sometimes 5, 6, 3 slaves. And they would put them in if they done something they weren't allowed to do. That was the punishment. If they whipped them, they whipped them
Right.
with whips, and then they slaughtered them for punishment. That was the law
Right.
back then. But back then it wasn't cruel.
Right.
Today it's very cruel,
Yeah.
something like that.
So did they bury him standing up by his horse?
They tried to, and they couldn't. The water table was so hot. They
He popped up.
kept popping it,
The coffin popped up.
kept doing it. And all, and that's a tale around that people hear. 9 out of 10 don't believe that.
Right.
I was right there.
So
with it.
what'd they do with him? Put him
They
horizontal?
laid him down.
Is he
buried
still
out.
there?
Nobody there but his horse.
He's still there today? Is it marked?
Yeah. Unless somebody stole it.
Yeah.
People go, you never know.
Yeah,
You know.
you never know.
And people love to walk back up in there, but they got to the point where the people that live where the little greenhouse is now belong to my mother-in-law. Coast Guard. The Coast Guard takes you having by gas for lawnmowers and that kind of thing.
Right.
And now, back years ago, Captain Dave Williams, that owns the brick cemetery over there, they owned that property, and then they give that to the Queen of England.
Really?
Now they own it. The Queen of England owns it. And they come here every year and have salute gunshot right out here.
Really?
Yeah, we shut everything down here where they have room to park.
Well, that's something.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
people come here. They come from all over the world here to see it.
What was on that grave that somebody stole? Was it like a plaque? It was a...
Well, most of them, I think, it's got a thing like this that time on the ground.
Right.
And I made one in the community cemetery for a man that I knew.
Uh-huh.
He was retired out in the service, and he worked with me, and when he died, the people, they just couldn't afford to pay for it.
Yeah.
And what they done, the Army issued a bronze, or whatever it's called, a foot piece.
Right.
And what I done, I made a concrete footing with a thing leaning.
I got you.
The boat through it. It's up there now.
Well, somebody pried off something that was on one of
That
those
mean,
graves.
man, that's outright ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Right there. And I looked at them then. They're known, the two of them. But talked to them in Moreese City.
On the beach?
Some of them were.
Did you find them?
No, I didn't. But a woman over here in the campground found one or two. Her and her husband. She was married to
Right.
Elwood Austin. Married to Iona now. He's Teeter.
Uh-huh.
And Frank Teeter was her husband. He was from Kansas.
Ah.
But back then he was here in the Navy. Back here in the Navy, 2,000 men here. My mother washed for him. Right there closed no laundry mat. Yeah,
she did laundry?
No. She just took their laundry and everybody do it. And she put them on the table. They come in for noon. I never did know one of them's name. And they had nickname, like Nat.
Right. And Conk.
And Conk. And Ma. Like that.
What does he like to be called?
Flat Maurice.
Morris.
Don't tell him that, because man, you like that.
Oh.
Republican. And then, who's a Republican? Before it gets years ago, they used to fight on kind of their whatever. You say something about when I fight you.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they did. You didn't tell a Republican. Mostly, I would. Yeah, I tell them I go to the Republican.
Yeah.
Both of them in the car. I would say, damn Republican.
That's funny.
And then love it.
Well, Ronald told me to ask you to describe the storm where you were stranded somewhere. 44 storm or the 33 storm?
Yeah. I was on the trawler.
He couldn't remember which storm.
It was 55.
Oh, 55.
I think it was Hazel, wasn't it?
Ah,
I'm
maybe.
not, yeah. Yeah, on the water. You go on the water and it's beautiful. Fish move with the weather. Move 'em.
Yeah.
The splotches of shrimp. Up on the water. Just kill them. Lay that. Wait. And at this particular time, we went out and we kept making our way north. We go out what we call 9-foot shoal, green light, and go out and we make our way out. Beautiful. We drop the hook and lay there and wait till dark. Shrimp will settle down.
Okay.
Isn't it? If it blows during the day, if you that morning after you finish, hook up,
Right.
put the hook in, sleep during the day. Well, we had all kinds, nylon, kept cool.
So were you caught by surprise in that storm?
Well, no, not actually. We got a report of it. I had a radio, I had a telephone.
Right.
The boat was with me on the Silver Lake. But it was 50. Open hole in the back, and I had a ship-shore radio on it. It had no pilot house, 4 people. You slide across that hole and pull the net.
Right.
Back of it. And we worked in the ocean because it's the same. And my boat was named the Ellen Maurice. And he's still around somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah. And we went out, like I said, we went north toward Hatteras. And and the kind of shrimp we were working on then was called green. Got a green tail.
I know them.
Okay. And you have a little net. You drop over and you pull along. 5 minutes. You take it up, see what you got. Well, that kind of a shrimp, if you catch one in 5 minutes, you better turn around and go back where you come from. Quit that boat right around and go right back to the same track. Because if you got one, there's 50 to 1.
Right.
Down there. So we were doing that and the wind started to breeze and we kept it going and it going. And when we were trying with a little net, the little net would come up full of what we call white-eyed spots.
White-eyed spots.
White-eyed spots.
And you're trying it?
In the trying net. And we weren't about to put that net out there. You bust that net wide open 10 minutes. So we kept it going, trying that little net. You pick it up and try it, and you pick it up and try it, and keep going, and we kept dropping out of them. And I said, when I drop out of them, the whole mess. And when I come out of them, I had one, I dumped it, all of it. And he saw me, he dumped it, all of it. And I got big outriggers and all, I didn't, I took them up over the stern and had the thing, pull the boat up and lock it that way.
Right.
And he started blowing, and the more it blew, the more shrimp.
Was it night?
Daytime.
Daytime. And then all of a sudden...
And we went on up there, and it started blowing real hard. In fact, they were washing the baskets around inside the boat. Holding box where to put shrimp in, had no bottom. Boat that would put the hatches on it, pick them off, and dump the net right in the box. You didn't have to call. Nothing. Little white-eyed spot every now and then.
Right.
Shell right inside. That boat held 1,500 pounds. I caught that in 2 days, 2 pulls, 2 drags. That we call drag.
Yeah.
An hour, whatever time you do that. And what we would do, the net would be fastened to the mast. Right here. And then it would go out, and as it went out, it would open up. The bolt would open up.
Yeah.
Well, we had a way that we could check how many was in that net by doing that.
Right.
So what we would do, we'd go to the mast, back, down that line, so many inches.
Right.
And we'd figure that up, how many inches it was, and go crossways. And then we would, every now and then, that was a way of finding out what we need to get that net out of water. We get too much in it.
You could tell by where it was, you'd measure it?
We measured when we put it out. As soon as we got it out, we measured down that line and across.
And you could tell how much shrimp you had in there?
You could tell how much weight was in it.
Really?
And if it dropped from 13 inches, so many inches down here and 13 inches across, and it went down to 10, you better get it out of that.
Okay.
Because it was closing up.
Right.
That kind of, your boards were going together.
I gotcha. Yeah, I see.
That's what they tell him. And you kept that little net in the water all the time.
Right.
And you could tell how many shrimp was in that net before you even called them out. By the amount you were catching, the green tail.
Right.
Now with the other one, sometimes you get a bag that big into it, and you wouldn't catch 100 pounds.
Yeah.
But if you got 10 shrimp, green tail shrimp, that was it.
Right.
Yeah. And we're up by dragging the net.
With engines, you had the engines going, and
yeah.
And
I run that 1,700 RPM. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the matter with them? I stood right there like we'll never move. I had to lock myself in the corner. Keep knocking me down.
Because the wind was blowing so hard?
Yeah.
And you stayed there through that storm?
We had to. But while I'm saying I had to, I had a baby girl here. For a day, week after week, made no money. Not even pay for the fuel. But we're looking and we still wasted fuel.
Right.
We were there and I heard this big... I had just fixed a lunch. I had cooked it myself. Fellow with me, Papa Howard, owns that Papa Howard building down here. He was with me. And he wanted to come home every night and run I just north side of me. I was so far up there in the woods, all the way up that bridge goes across Curry Tap in there.
Wow, yeah.
And we found shrimp up shrimp up at dark.
Yeah. Because you needed the money.
I kept going, of course.
Did you think you were going to drown?
Huh?
Did you think you were going to, your boat?
No. No.
Okay.
You know. No.
That was a hurricane.
Not too flat. From Germany, North Carolina. That's where they docked that in from here.
Oh, the ferry.
4-hour ride. And I flew the flag half mast bottom up.
You found a body?
No. It was from here.
I got you.
A man by the name of Smokey Joe.
How'd he die?
He died put him in a seal casket. They put him in the boat. They had guards on him.
Really?
SP. Carrying corpse. Nobody. I brought him here to this dock, and I come from there to the mailboat. Took 4 hours. 2 hours and 10 minutes. I rounded up that dock there, and the Coast Guard took him off. 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's moving. Knew the water all out there, and when that plane flew over, I had just fixed a corned beef hash. And just put it out. I was sitting out on the hatch, letting her go. She was going right on down this way. Not even there, I pulling. Watch that old top pilot hat. I had duck down sometime. And that airplane come by, and I looked up at it roaring, full motor, big, the hurricane plane. Flew over and dropped the Nessie, big piece of ribbon, about that wide, about 14 feet long. Here it come. I pulled it on, took the boat hook, hooked it up, put it in the boat. About that long. Had a cork stopper in the end. I pulled it out, and it had a note in it. I pulled it out and opened it up. When I read it, it said, hurricane, latitude and longitude. Well, the first thing they figured, people in the plane figure you can't read. If you're on a boat, you can't read.
Really?
On the lake, so under the bottom they wrote, hurricane right off Moreese City, seek harbor at once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I towed it down, but pulled the net up and slapped it right down on the deck. I didn't even stop to winch it in with the wind.
Right.
I pulled it in steel cables by hand.
Is this different? You didn't have the body.
Oh no, this is a
Yeah,
different
this is
story.
different. Okay,
This
gotcha.
is about the hurricane.
Okay,
The other one was
gotcha.
about I went
Okay,
on my own to pick that up.
right.
And we went on across. We hit it off. The wind and the sea was so bad that we scudded.
Like going to the side?
Yeah. So we run off tail to the wind.
Scudded.
If the wind was blowing from the south,
Mm-hmm.
then we went north. And we run off the tail to the wind. If the sea was breaking, break on our stern.
Okay,
It's smoother. You run away from it.
right.
So we went inland. And when we turned to go inland, these pines were bent right down. In big pines, like level with the ground. It blowing that hard.
Where were you inland? Near Cedar Island?
We went to Englehard
Oh, okay.
this way.
You were
Off
way up the sound.
We went way inland. And we went in there to tie it up, stern to stern.
Mm-hmm.
And that very same night, how I will remember it, the man that was on the Silver Lake, the brothers, one of them was the captain, the other one was the mate.
Mm-hmm.
They got a law on boats like that. The captain.
Oh, yeah.
You don't touch it.
Right.
You make the decision. Funny. So I told Papa Howard that morning, I said, get up. I didn't know what the problem was. And he was on this diesel motor, the brother. And he was had started the motor, that diesel motor, and I was right down there the back of it. And if he had broke loose or pulled one of them little stakes down here tied to, he was going right through me.
Oh, my gosh.
I heard his brother holler at him and all, and what happened, what I found out happened, well, they come down to the dock from there's a restaurant we usually go up at, and the fish house where we sold. And most of the time it's a one-way in, long ways in there, and all in boats. If you got in there and caught a fire, you couldn't get out of there. And I made a habit saying, we put our stuff out and we're going to hit the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
Right.
We're going to drop the hook. And we go out there. We go out a mile off in the sign.
And what was the name of your boat?
Ellen Marie.
Ellen Marie.
And we born from my brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And he went on it. A lot of times he couldn't do it because he run the mail. And
He run the Alita?
Alita.
Yeah.
Right, the Alita. Then we fixed that into a trawler. And then we run that, me and him, for many years. Shrimp trawler.
The
And
Alita?
Fishing got so bad, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And we floundered off the beach out here. We went off a lot of times all the way down Drum Inlet, Shacklefoot Bank, all down in that area.
Right.
And
Gosh.
there's all kinds of tales, everything you do. The Atlantic people come down here, tied up into the dock, and of a night, when you walk around Silver Lake, they sink netters run off here. They run around running boats out, just like I had.
Right.
With nets on the stern, catching croakers and trout, and they go by the gannets. The gannets diving.
Right.
Depends on how
Yeah,
deep
those
the gannets
birds.
dive on a slant,
Again, it.
whatever. They're shallow. If you dive deep, they're deep.
Right.
And they could tell by the way the gannets dive, they could read the way they done what type of fish was that.
Really? That's
Croaker,
amazing.
trout, or whatever they were. You walk around Silver Lake down there, beautiful smell, cooking fish
Yeah.
back in there.
Huh. Well, that night you got in a storm. Were you able to
Yeah,
sell
well-
your shrimp?
Well, we carried the shrimp in, and we put them out to a man by the name of Maynard
Mm-hmm.
in Englehard. Very pretty in there. Little creek out there, wider than this house where you go in. That's why I said I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
They all them boats in there, and a bunch of them got in there and got to drinking,
I got you.
you know, and they didn't care. Fuel oil floating on the water. Where they I go on out to open time, get out of it. Far in there.
Ah.
We left by 2 o'clock in the morning, and that boy got word that he had a baby boy just born. That night, they come down and told him that his wife, and right back of that on the news, they put word out, and that child just born, his name was Phil Starn. He's 52.
Right.
Now. He's born in that hurricane.
Phil Starn, he still lives here on the island?
No, he's married now. He's remarried again. He lives up in New Jersey. And I remember his age, never forget his age, because we come out 2 o'clock in the morning and headed down, and when the sea would break, it was dark, 2 o'clock in the morning, I could see the land by the white of the sea when it would break and run across front. Then we're going along out there. I was standing there with a my hand, kicked her right and kept her head.
Right.
Run ahead and slow back when she's back up. We made our way all the way down, and we were hoping when daylight come we could see it. And the Silver Lake, and on the Moreese, made our way to a place called Hog Island Can, or Camboose. And we made our way till we found it. And what we done, we run in, land, and off, and in and off this way, until we picked it up. Spotlight.
Right.
Pick it up. And there's a place called Bluff Shore Lake, right straight off there.
Yep.
And a man years ago used to live on it. There was a house on it then. It's not now. It's just a structure of a lake.
Right.
So when daylight come, we hit it across. And the Silver Lake was about 2 miles north of me. Stay away from another one, couldn't see it.
Right.
Run on top of another. Sometimes he'd go down in the trough of the sea, I couldn't even see him. Mast and all. And we made our way up. We took our time, eased it right on across, and I saw this structure ahead of me. And I kind of worked over toward it. You couldn't go only what the boat would take. I mean, it's just as bad as you get caught both sideways here. And then I went over and got up close enough to it. When I got there, if you look at this Coast Guard station down here we have now, look at the queue below, the roof.
Right.
That's what it was, I thought. At Hatteras Island and Coast Guard station. Queue below.
Hatteras.
It's called Hatteras. Right. There.
Is here?
This was. Where the hurricane on the beach, running water. Be that.
That's what some cow and a pelican up on a hill.
That's right, Brian. Washed them off the beach. Water got so hot out here. And they put out word that Ocracoke was washed off the map. That's why. Otherwise, we would not have done it during that kind of time. In that hurricane. And when we have a beach, it always passes us by. No high water until it's gone. We got no water, dry. But when it gets by, it passes us by, and it gets up this direction toward Diamond Shoal. There it comes.
Swings around and in comes
it comes
the
from the mainland.
Yeah.
And while we were over that, on the bottom, all that wind's blowing. And the boat turned down on its side. It rushed back. By there, when the hurricane went by, here. Cool. And here comes. We come up. This way. And another time after that, there was another one. We got caught in, like I say, he caught in. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. But nobody's ever died in a hurricane from here, have they?
No. The most dangerous thing in a hurricane that people don't realize, don't stop thinking, is getting out and walking, wanting to know what's down there.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Right.
Not thinking that a shingle, a little corner, off of that shingle, off of this road, could go 5 miles. Whew,
Yeah.
cut your head clean off,
Yeah.
or hit you right in here, and put you away for life.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Curiosity killed the cat. That's exactly right. Yeah. So, a long time ago, when I searched this record, that many years back, it was English. There's still a lot of English.
Right.
And then the older it goes, the younger the people get, the less you have it. Because now there's more people that we all get around and
Right.
talk to.
Yeah.
And if you go down to Atlantic and all 2 pieces, go from Harper.
Wow.
And he does. He's on boats. He's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he's caught tons.
Yeah.
I think when I everywhere. Popped in here one day, drinks like a fish.
Yeah.
And I had a man out here. And he come and set a beer bottle on that.
Ah.
I told him no. I'm not going to let you do it. If you want your beer, go in the house and drink it.
Right.
Well, I don't want you to set it here in his face. He's a good boy. Now he just left. He and his wife had problems when he left the island. Sold his house. He wasn't from here. He's from New Jersey.
So now you got all these new people moving in, and
I don't know. I really don't know. I like it. And the people need them. Everybody. They had shut it down. A lady comes here every day, and one sat here yesterday, and I told them, I said, I don't know which is the worst, having too much or not having nothing.
yeah.
Talking about nothing, I'm talking about walking in this house, looking on that table. Now, more than likely, if you look here, or a nickel.
Mm-hmm.
Go out of that stand. I seen Tom walking his house, and you couldn't find it 5 cents. Not.
Really?
And that's what I told you, that long ago my father worked on a freight boat and across the sound to bring freight.
Uh-huh.
And if you went down, you put it down, a broom, a mop, a shovel.
Yeah.
And as they brought it down, they put it in the boat. But when they got it loaded, your shovel was on the bottom. When you go down here to this dock, they had anchored back of the reef until the war.
Right.
And then they had to put that boat out there, and that boat was a lay boat.
Uh-huh.
And they dropped anchor.
The day
Lay boat.
the lay boat.
Lay. And they had a captain on it, stayed aboard it. And the boat would come there, float. Would go off with small push oars, paddle,
Yeah.
sailboat. And they'd sail. Sorry, in the door. Hey, you just in time.
This is my friend. I thought that was you out there. This is my. Yes, I do. she came over with me.
I just tell her different things.
It's nice to meet you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you Nathaniel?
Yeah.
I read it on your...
No, it fits you for somebody else.
Oh, I'm Suzanne.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's
she
another
came
lady.
over with me.
I live in Nashville, Tennessee.
I was just telling her years ago and all, and I was just telling her they come in the island here, and you couldn't get in Silver Lake where the boat come now. It's all shallow, too shallow. And the boat, it's called a lay boat. It had a captain. A lay boat. And the boat run on 9 years. And bought 50 barrels.
You got a UPS man.
It's okay. We're paying some packages in, I think,
I can get that.
for the, it's going to come in like,
Oh, okay.
Yes, but,
Oh, okay.
it's not for me, it's for the doctor back here.
oh,
Yeah, here, he's got one coming to the doctor.
right.
And
Into it
I don't mind
later.
doing it for nobody, because it ought to be done by different people, but they won't. What really is that I say something to offend somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, some of these children going, sometimes I say something they don't realize it.
Right. Okay,
Not
so
right.
you're talking about this lay boat.
Yeah, it's anchored back of the reef
Uh-huh.
out here. So they come a hurricane and trip the anchor, and there's part of the song about the part of it. So here on the island was postmaster Tom Wallace
Uh-huh.
here, and his son raised here, married here on the island in the Navy here, and all during World War I. And so he had a lady here on the island that the captain of the lay boat was going with this lady as his girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
that lived here on the island. So when he would come ashore off the lay boat, it was his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Wallace, when he went here, it was his girlfriend. The hurricane come and the lay boat tripped the anchor and come on down. They went here where they call now the Sand Dollar Island. I never heard of it. It was named by somebody just said it's not.
They nicknamed it
It's
that.
on record of a lay boat.
Mm-hmm.
And when it tripped the anchor, that's where it went ashore. On lay boat show. That's where it got its name. So they made a song up on here. And it went something like this. I don't know it all. But it went, they sang it as they walked around the island. Everybody done it. And T for Tommy, T for Trout, the captain of the lay boat being cut out.
T for Tommy, T for Trout, captain of the lay boat,
And then being cut out.
done been cut out.
You probably never hear that again.
Is that
But
because of the
yeah.
the girlfriend? He got cut out of that.
Yeah. T for Trout. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad you made me turn the recorder back on for that.
Yeah, it's true. I wouldn't tell something other unless I told somebody different.
Well, yeah.
I just told her a tale on a boy comes here, born and raised with me here. And my grandmother brought me in this world as midwife. And her home caught a fire and burned up. That she bought. And she moved eyes a woman having a child, and then she would go from door to door.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she got the name Lot. And her name was Charlotte O'Neal.
Yeah. Aunt
There's
Lottie?
a book on her,
Aunt Lot.
Aunt Lot.
Aunt Lot.
Where the Aunt Lot come from, if she moved and went to you, as being a childbirth, she stayed there. Like
Yeah.
pull the curtains down, no light,
Ah.
and that kind of thing. Here, green curtains on the windows, and that kind of thing, which she's done.
Wow.
I should stay with you.
But the knowledge of nature, it beat anything that I ever saw in my whole natural life.
Yeah.
I'm just telling her about things. The day they take you to have a carbuncle, whatever, they don't call it carbuncle, some kind of name, and they take you down there and take a razor, knife and cut you. Next thing you know, you got a scar
Yeah.
where they leave you. I never saw a scar. She pulled many out of my neck, and to think about it, when you didn't have no bathroom, and you had a pan hanging on a nail on the back porch, and you had a wash rag. Have you ever tried as far as you can reach. And you try to reach around here, as far as you can reach. There's
Right.
always a streak down the back of your neck that you don't get. People
You
wonder.
want to walk around looking like a skunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's really true.
Mr.
And-
Nat, I think we have to get going pretty soon for that ferry.
oh.
All our stuff is at the hotel.
Oh, you can catch the next one. I can't.
I'm starving.
You're afraid of the
I
storm.
can't tell you. I don't mind telling you about it, but we had no bathroom,
Yeah.
and we had an outdoor Johnny house.
Oh, yeah.
But why did your father object to the new bathroom that you built? Why did he object to that?
He didn't object to the bathroom. He tore it out because there were
Oh,
in
you
waste
wanted to
basin.
update it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he went update by putting him in.
But you had first, you kind of made a shower.
Yeah, I had first shower in there, and outside was waistband bath. That's why. Anybody ever tells you about the car buckle?
No more car
You try to reach back out.
buckles.
You try to reach back out even to scratch it or wash it.
Right.